to tell you that I have been put on a little bit of a Facebook punishment.
Oh,
I am not able to post in my groups. So the call is being recorded. I'm going to go live now
okay.
in hopes that it will allow me to post the Zoom link. But if not, I have the recording and I will have my leaders post it. Let's try sharing to a group because it's always so much more fun when we go live.
Yeah. Well, then you know we're doing something right if that ever happens.
I have been working my hiney off lately because you know what, the way that you come out of December is the way you go into January, and I am going in strong. I have been working my hiney off lately because you know what, the way that you, okay, so let me just message Ed.
Yeah, I see where it's streaming live on Facebook is what I see.
Ed, are we live in our group? Can you see us? Okay, so let me go. I'm very surprised that it allowed me to do that because I have been put on a very strict Facebook punishment. Very strict. Facebook is very upset with me. Amanda said she sees us. Fantastic. So if you guys are watching, if you have never seen Casey before, comment with a 1, and if you've seen her and if you know her story and are familiar with her, give me a 2 in the comments below. So Casey, I am so excited to interview you and get to know you better. I have been following you. I read your story today and I just got very choked up. So share your 30-second story with us and then we'll get into the good nuggets.
Yeah, sure. Before Isagenix, I was a tired, exhausted night shift nurse, and I had put on some extra weight after getting married and just didn't feel good in my skin. And my dear friend, Jennifer Trinkner, introduced me to Isagenix, and it was within that 1 week that I felt like I swallowed a rainbow. Releasing 12 pounds was fantastic, but it was the mental clarity, it was the energy, and I loved how I felt. And the more I learned about Isagenix, the more I put it in my body, just the more and more passionate I became. And I started sharing it with people because I wanted them to feel as fantastic as I did. And that's when the opportunity came into my life. And since then, I retired myself from nursing. My husband got out of the military full time, and now we are just full-time livers and full-time professional networkers. And so I just love everything about Isagenix and just believe that everybody deserves to know about this incredible life-changing system and lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did your friend Jennifer introduce it to you? Did she talk to you about the business, or did she come to you for the products? Why did she come to you? Did she know you were exhausted?
I went to her. I was seeing her on Facebook and I wanted to lose 10 pounds, and that was it. There was not a business talk, that she reached out to me or anything. I saw some transformations, and and so I reached out to her because I wanted to lose 10 pounds, and that was it. Nothing else or what was in it, 10 pounds. I don't care what was in it.
Jennifer Trinkner is a 7-figure yearly income earner. She earns over $1 million a year, and this is someone who has the same platform that the rest of us have. Jennifer is utilizing Facebook, and because she posted on Facebook, she found Casey. So for you guys that are not using social media because you're in your head, because you're worried about what people are going to think, you know what? You're not worried about the 90 people that are not ready. You're worried about the one exhausted oncology nurse that is desperately praying for a change. That's the person you're looking for, because one person can change the life of your business, and you, my friends, can change that one person's life. So you came to her to lose 10 pounds. So where was that? I mean, going to nursing school, girl, you went through a lot of schooling. Yeah. When did you cross the line that you were like, you know what, I am going from a product sharer to a product user? Because I know as an oncology nurse, especially a pediatric oncology nurse, it is very devastating to see people sick and dying each and every day. And here you are, you have a solution to help people feel better. So I know initially you started sharing not as a business, but as a passion to get the world a healthier, better place. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, it was. I mean, prior to working with pediatric oncology, I worked in the adult intensive care unit, and I wouldn't have seen 85% of that population had there been some lifestyle change. And and I did, and gosh, seeing sick children, and then seeing just what that does to parents too, and just how exhausted people were. I really saw a need for what Isagenix was doing. And I haven't been doing Isagenix for as long as I was actually in college. So I still have not been doing Isagenix for as long as I was in school for. And, you think about that, but it did. It just started as a passion of wanting to help people just feel better. And that was it. All the research that I was doing, it was all just pointing to Isagenix. And and so I did it all wrong in the beginning, though. I used to basically, I think people were running away from me as fast as I could run to them, because I was like, okay, this is the only solution in the world. Like, I felt like I had just found the holy grail, and like people had to detox or they were gonna die. I mean, it was just a hot mess. Everything that I was posting on Facebook, completely not compliant. I mean, it was just a nightmare how I started, but I was so passionate. So no matter how you started, you can turn it around if you've made some mistakes with starting out in Isagenix. But yeah, I really do believe in falling in love with the products, or maybe you've been, doing the products for a minute or building this business for a minute, fall in love with them again, do another 30-day system or something. But just, that was it. That was my fire, and all I needed to really start sharing the products. And my friend Jen, she told me, she said, I'm going to be a millionaire in this company. Basically you can watch me or you can come with me, because I'm doing it. So that would also be something that, be committed, be serious about it. Your people that are coming on are your product users. If you tell them that, they'll listen. At least the seed is planted. And so I read a book called The 4-Year Career. And that's what really did it for me. If you guys haven't read the 4-Year Career book, I went to a Christmas party that Jennifer invited me to, and there another Isagenix associate was, and she brought all of us the 4-Year Career book by Richard Bliss Brooke. And I read that book cover to cover at a basketball game, because my phone was dead. It was God just had his hand in this one with his my phone being dead. And so I read that book, and I got it. I got geometric progression. I got residual income. I understood that I love these products. And all I was doing was opening online grocery stores for people. And every single time they purchased, or anybody they referred purchased out of those online grocery stores, I made residual income, and it clicked, and I got very busy, and I got my butt to an event. I put money that I didn't have on a credit card. I roomed with a complete stranger. I got my ticket. I called Jennifer after I read that book, and I said, okay, I really want to look at this. And she said, get to an event. I said, I don't have the time and I don't have the money to go to an event. And she said, you said you were serious, so you have to be at the event. And that was it. That's how it all started, when I really then dove in. And I remember at that first event, I said, I'm going to be a millionaire, and I'm going to do it in 4 years. And 4 years later at that same event, I was getting my new millionaire. So that was fun, but it was definitely the commitment, and just that book did it for me. Understanding geometric progression did that switch for me.
Awesome. The 4-Year Career, guys. Go on Amazon and get it tonight. Get it on Audible, audiobook, Kindle, whatever you have to do. If this is someone who is a millionaire that's telling me to read this book, at the minute this call is over, I am going to get that book. So I want to talk to you. What really drew the line? Because you're passionate, you're excited, you're loving it, you're talking to people. You've got this coach that's telling you, I'm going to go far. You're either going to watch me or you're going to join me. So that little lit a fire under your ass a little bit, and you were like, all right, let's get going with this. Let me ask you a question. When did you decide to quit your job? Because a lot of people, they quit their job before they're ready, and some people feel like they never set a goal to quit their job. It has to be a perfect time. And you know what? When I started this in the beginning, I was envious of people who worked, Casey, because I was home with kids in pajamas, braless all day. I didn't get to go in the car. I didn't get to drive to meet people. I didn't get to go to the cafeteria and talk with people. So everything I did was really on social media and doing Zumba and trying new things like forcing myself to get out. So people, they say that, you know, I have a job and I can't do as much as you. You have a job. That's why you should be doing as much as me, because you get to leave the house and see human beings. So when did you make that decision that, you know what, I'm making enough and I feel confident that I'm ready to cross over to be a full-time network marketer? Because that's scary for some people.
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, I knew when I made the decision, like that would eventually come, because and I knew, and it was just like, what if, like this is that thing that I've been praying for. It's like, you know, I'm not gonna sit back and say what if in the next 3 or 5 years and see Jennifer, like what if, like I would have had so much regret. Oh my gosh. And so, yeah. And it was, you know, really, I set my husband down. I don't know if you guys are married, or, you know, some people have supportive spouses. Some people, you know, their spouse might not be that supportive, but I set my husband down and I showed him what I was going to do. And I said, this is what I'm doing. And I had him watch the comp plan so that he could understand that there would be later nights, that maybe some dishes weren't going to be done, laundry, things were going to be changing because some time was going to be invested in this. And so I set that stage, and he said, that's going to be a lot of work. And I said, I know, but I'm committed and I'm ready, because I want our life to be different. And my husband was in the military and I didn't want to go through deployments. And so there was a burning why for me not to have to, you know, go through deployments with my husband. And so, you know, finding that I know was for me, but I always say, you know, why can just be getting your nails and your hairs done when you want to. So, but that I had a really strong one. In nursing, you know, there was a part where I could go part-time and then I could just kind of work as I wanted. But it was about 2 years that I was building before I stepped away from nursing. But you guys, I was building. You know, we have to ask ourselves, are we building? I was building full-time in Isagenix while I was working full-time. You know, I was working 7-8 days in a row, sometimes 12-hour shifts that would turn into 14 hours. I would come home and I would stay up. I would get up in the middle of the afternoon to do 3-way calls. I was doing calls on my way to work. The TV went off. When I was in my car, that's when I was listening to CDs, podcasts, all of those things. I immerse myself. And so, you know, sometimes we say, well, I want to be able to, you know, quit my job in a year or 2 years or 3 years. But how much time are we really investing in it? Or is it, you know, we're putting some post on Facebook, we're casually talking about it, or are we intentionally doing it every single day? And I think we have to have that real honest assessment for ourselves to really where we know that. But it was about 2 years for me. But again, I was working it like $1 million depended on it, like residual income depended on it, because it did. And I understood, you know, what this was. And I saw Jim and Kathy Coover and Eric Coover and a legacy company. And I was not going to let time pass me by and not be a part of this legacy company and Isagenix. So, but I do agree with you. And I think that people do think, you know, maybe quit a little bit too soon, or, you know, before that they're really diving in and treating it, you know, as full-time business, or they're making some income to have that bridge. But, you know, yeah, it's a great place to meet people. And I used to hate floating. Like I never wanted to float. Like in nursing, you can float to different units. But when I started doing Isagenix, I was like, float me. I've got to connect with different people. You know, going down to the cafeteria extra, just getting around people. Like you said, I mean, I was constantly networking with all the nurses there, you know, getting people on Facebook that maybe I wouldn't have, you know, prior. So I loved being able to have that. And then when I, you know, moved or different nursing, some of the nurses that I work with, you know, they start travel nursing just so they can network with more people. So I think a job is absolutely, it's amazing. It's a blessing. I was very grateful for my career to, you know, lead me up until I could do Isagenix full time.
Now you sound very passionate and very ballsy and very fearless, right? So I feel like for you, you would think nothing to go up to some lady and just say, hey, I want to tell you about a program. But you're not extroverted. You're not, I mean, it does take a lot of courage to go up to somebody. I mean, the way you guys see her today, I want you to know, is not the way she was 4 years ago. She's developed the skills. She's gone to events. She's put in the work to be the leader, the amazing person that you see today. What rank are you, Jen? I'm
8
sorry.
star.
8-star. So do you feel that with every star you've developed a little bit?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wish everybody could see me in the beginning. And it's funny. So that there's a couple people that, build with me, that started with me on my journey, and that, are still in, and that they've become a six-figure earner, one of them too. And they're like, man, if you could have seen Casey in the beginning, she was awful. She was awful. They tell that story of how bad. Well, when I saw that Casey could do it, I knew anybody could do it. I was horrible. But I was passionate, and I made the decision, and I knew that I was going to probably fail. I mean, if I could tell you guys some of the ways that I tried to network with people or pounce on people, so it was awful, 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 awful. But again, I was committed. And so I got better and I got better. And that's really where the learning takes place, you guys. It's in the practice, right? It's like when we're practicing. So never discount getting out there and practicing or looking, because you're going to learn. And I always say that people can sometimes be meant for us to learn with, and maybe not necessarily for our business, or it wasn't meant for, but they're going to teach us something. And so when we're connecting with somebody, or when the way that I did it, it was just a learning, or, oh, I'm not going to do that again, or I would do that differently. And so that way, when I'm in front of the person that's meant to receive this gift and that wants to receive this gift, it's going to be ready then. So there's no mistakes in it, because everything is learning. But yes, I am not the same person.
Because you sound so strong and so confident and so beautiful and so positive, and your posture and everything is like perfect. And I think, like, to a new person listening, they're probably thinking in their mind, I can't do what she does. I can't speak the way she can. But guys, this was a nighttime nurse. All this came with skill. But I will tell you this, and one thing I love about you is that doing the do is doing the do. And when you put your butt in the chair, we learned from the Eric Worre Summit that our main activities are this: prospect, having the conversations, enrolling people. That is number one. Number two is training your team. And number three is pushing your people to get to events. Those are the only three money-making activities. And anything other than that, Casey was doing in her car, to work, from work. And it did not count as income producing activity. And I really challenged the team to start doing this, because people are like, oh my God, you work so much. And I don't think I work so much. I don't work 8-hour days, especially with the kids. But what I do is touch my business every day consistently, but I focus on the stuff that matters. So I started highlighting my book, because I want to show people how much I work, what I do, and where I spend my time. So the yellow is my prospecting calls, and I work on doing 3 of those a day. The pink is talking to anyone about getting to an event, right? And the orange is the team training. And then at the end of the day, you count how many income producing activity minutes you've spent, right? Because all day long, social media, it can be such a gift, right? But it can also be such a curse, because you spend so much time putzing around, looking at posts and scrolling. And don't scroll, just message the person. Hey, you've been on my heart. I've been thinking about you. Let me know what you think about this, or let's meet for coffee. So I would love to hear what some of your methodology is, what some of your, like, you wake up in the morning, tell me how your day goes. Show me what your business looks like. Because I would love for other people to see what an 8-star does.
Well, I wake up and I start my day now with yoga and the sauna. So look forward to self-love being the first thing every day, but that is not how it's always been. But it's just, I am on my computer a lot, and I wouldn't say a lot, a couple hours a day, right, of being on their intention. Definitely happy birthday messages are one of the easiest ways to connect with somebody. And, every single day I have birthday messages on there that you can reach out to. Hey, happy birthday. Any special plans? Always ending things in a question mark. For sure in our product pages, I'm sure you guys have a product page. page in there, being active, any of people that are new cleansers or, things like that I'm just touching base with. I'm making sure that any type of tools. I really encourage my team too, as far as welcome calls. So I do some welcome calls during the day. But yeah, you're just reaching out to people. I'm in groups. I'm in groups of people, of things that interest me, right? Like I have boxers. I'm a boxer mom, dogs. And so I'm in a ton of boxer groups, and I'm constantly connecting in there. So I get in there intentionally to post a picture of my dogs, to reach out, to comment on other people, to add friends or help them on it. So I'm in groups. I'm not talking about necessarily my products per se. And then I'm inviting people to take a look. I'm inviting people to join my group. I'm inviting people, have you heard about Isogenics before? Do you know what it is that I do? Like, I'd love to share it with you. I'm just inviting people to take a look. And so, yeah, and every day is a little bit different per se, but, and then, for sure we do our team trainings and all of that. I'm also a big one-on-one person. I'm a belly to belly. I know in this day in social media, it seems like some people do everything on social media and they have kids. And so it's just easier. I don't have kids. So I really do utilize the belly to belly. I love, if I can get in front of somebody, they can feel my passion and they can see it. And so I do some coffees and things like that with people. But what I'm really, really good at is I am great at showing people a compensation plan and geometric progression. I'm really great at my ISOPulse, and when somebody enrolls somebody for the first time, making sure that they know, about the full Isogenics compensation plan, about the bonuses. I'm really, really good at digging down in anywhere in my organization because it all rolls up. And, and I definitely, there would have been some people that had been missed. I know that if I had not kind of had my eye just throughout my organization. But absolutely, you touch your organization every single day. And you guys, and sometimes you're going to be full throttle in, 90-day game plans, what Eric Worre talks so much about. There's, different phases through everything. Sometimes, that you have Tanya Kirkpatrick did an amazing corporate Zoom once where she had her enroller cap on and she's laser focused on bringing in the next generation of leaders, and then kind of, just with all the new people getting started and mentoring. So there's different, but you have to be intentional. This is a $1 million business. This is a multiple six-figure business. Like, how much would you pay you based on your production that you did today or did last week or did for 2 weeks? Like, that was something that a mentor said to me, is how much would you pay you based on the action that you took today in your business? And again, it's just getting honest with yourself. Like, how much would I pay me? Because those are things that bring in money, just like what you talked about, the prospecting, the presenting, the duplication, showing people how to prospect and present, right? Like, that's the training. And, presentation, being inviting people to view a tool, doing a 3-way call, getting in the product page, all of those things. So yeah, my time is definitely devoted to touching my business every single day.
You are amazing. I think I have officially found my Isogenics girl crush. Like, holy cow, on fuego. So let me ask you a question. How do you utilize your ISOPulse? What do you do? As soon as you say, Becky enrolled someone for the first time, tell me what you do.
I first want to know who enrolled them, because I have my leaders that I know that if it is somebody that they enrolled, they're taken care of, they're good. I could just say, oh my gosh, way to go on blessing your first person in Isogenics. What all are your goals? And just connecting them and congratulating them on that. I mean, it's so exciting. Your first enrollment is like the most exciting thing ever. And so just touching on that. And then if it's not a leader or a name that I'm aware of, then I'm on Facebook. I'm finding them. I'm finding it out. But I'm text messaging, every first person enrollment and asking people what their goals are. And for anybody, and then I'll say, is it about products? Is it about the opportunity side? Oh, are you using it just for the products or the opportunity? And if somebody's interested in the opportunity, I want to make sure that they have seen the compensation plan. They know the time sensitive bonuses. I mean, Kathy Coover told me, she said, if you want your business to change, you have to show people the money. You have to show people the money. And if Kathy Coover tells me that, like, I'm listening. And so I'm showing people the money.
Okay.
Showing people the opportunity, you know, and if they don't want it, if they say that it's just about products, oh my gosh, there's something to be said about letting have somebody just have a love affair with the products, nothing to do with the business. Or if the business is a turnoff, I'm going to let product users be product users and love them and support them in the ISA body and in our product pages and all of those things. But it's my job to make sure that I don't have the Isagenix vision and that they at least know about it. And then from there, they get to make their decision and I support them at whatever level they're at.
So I am a brand new person. I've just enrolled, and you congratulate me for enrolling my first person. You asked me what my goals are, and I say, yeah, I could use a little bit of money. What do you say to me on the phone? Because I think this is going to be the most important part of the call. I think everyone loves the products. Everyone can post on Facebook. You know, that's easy for people. Everyone can get on a three-way phone call and get that person to sign up, and especially with free enrollment on Wednesday and s'mores bars and all these wonderful treats. But I know, but I think for most people, where you feel comfortable, others do not. You love showing people the money. And, you know, I had a woman on my team and she's like, I'm only a 2-star. And I'm like, only a 2-star? You replace your teacher's income. You better change that posture, babe. You know, and I think a lot of people, for them, they feel like, holy cow, I don't know how to explain the comp plan. It's overwhelming, the pools. And basically, like, the way I explain the comp plan is the way I learned, and that was watching Lynn Hagedorn's compensation plan video. And I didn't have a coach, I didn't have an upline, and it was just ACMDE, follow the tracks to run on. And that's what I try to explain to people. Find 2, left, right, 50 for consultant. Then if in 60 days, you're going to become manager, $450. I would love to hear how you get a brand new person excited about the money without overwhelming them. Because if it's good, I will incorporate your stuff into my repertoire, and I'll give you something juicy of mine. That's why I love Isagenix, because you know what? There's no secrets here. You go to other companies and they won't tell you. They won't show you their campaigns. They won't help you. Here, Isagenix people, we're all pushing for $1 billion and beyond together, right? If I grow, she grows. We can all take pride in that we have a company that's striving to be bigger than Johnson & Johnson. And the only way we're going to do that is working together. And anyone from Casey to Jennifer, who I love, to Herb Cepeda, everyone is openly sharing their secrets because they want you to succeed. The products rock, the comp plan rocks, right? The main factor is you. So you've got to grow yourself. You've got to get over whatever that thing is that's holding you back. Because this woman, she went to school for so long to become a nurse, gave it up, and in 4 years hit company millionaire, and now earns more than the president of the United States of America. I mean, that's a pretty big deal to think that we earn more than a thoracic heart surgeon. I Googled it.
Oh my gosh. I got $1.50 raise as a nurse in 4 years. Let that one sink in. $1.50, right?
My God, I would investigate child abuse for Child Protective Services. Literally, they didn't even give us a can of mace. They gave you a badge and said, good luck. Yeah. You know, there was no training. There was no leadership development. They didn't pour half of what our shake company pours into us. This is not a shake company, guys. This is a company that's really striving to change global health. If you are on this rocket ship, I thank my lucky stars every day. Every time I see Kathy Coover, I tear up because of how much she has changed, not just my life, but my children's life and their children's life. I mean, you have stepped on something incredible. And for you to just treat it lightly, it doesn't make sense to me. Because, you know, I'm like, go, you can do this. You can have anything. You can pay off your mortgage tomorrow. And I look at stories like Casey's, and it's just awe-inspiring what normal human beings, normal people doing extraordinary things here. Extraordinary. And any one of us can do it. So with that being said, teach me how you get a new person excited. How do you present the comp plan?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say, just piggyback a little bit on that. If we're not treating it seriously, we just can't possibly understand it. If we're not treating it seriously, then we don't understand it. That would be the only explanation. Once you really see what this is, know it from the inside out, like Jim and Kathy and Eric. Like, I mean, it's just, I always say, everybody's talking about how great they're sleeping on Isogenics. I'm like, if you're sleeping at night and like you're new to Isogenics, and I'm like, no, I wasn't sleeping at all. Like, I couldn't sleep because I was so fired up about Isogenics and just getting busy, getting started, failing hard, failing fast, so I could get better and better and better, because I was just so excited about my future. So yes, 1,000% to everything that you just said. So yeah, so getting on a call with somebody and a product user, and that's, guys too, are you utilizing in that first week where somebody is started Isogenics, or that first 2 weeks, are you getting them on a call with somebody who has a business story, or a three-way call? And you have a business story if you're committed to having a business story and where you're going, your future business story, right? Like, that's a business story as well. But I do. So when I get on a call with somebody, I want to know why. I want to know why this business could impact their life, right? Why an extra $500? Why getting their products paid for? Like, I want to know what's going on in their personal life, and to hit kind of a pain point possibly in somebody's life. Or, of course, you might have somebody that they're just excited about it. They're successful. They chase the next opportunities and they're looking for something great. But that's really the first thing that I start with. Then I do try to keep it super simple, because I do find that if you overwhelm people, then they're overwhelmed, right? And then that's going to create inaction, just that overwhelmment. So then I really encourage them. I share my story. I really, connect with them and find some common ground. And then I use the tools, because that's something that they could use without having to feel like it. I too learned how to do the compensation plan. I saw Lynn Hagedorn from stage draw it out, and she said, draw it out 10 times and go draw it out for 10 people. So I too had those train tracks from A to E. But I use the fast track to executive.com. So I have everybody watch the fast track to executive.com. And then I also use the Jim Coover compensation plan. But if somebody wants to do, and they really want to know how it works in depth, then I use that. And then Kathy Coover really blessed my life with the new associate interview. And, I asked her, I had a call with her once, and I said, Kathy, one tip, if you could leave me with one thing, what would it be? And she said, Casey, the new associate interview. And when I'm talking to somebody too, I always want to know what their stress is. What are they stressed about in life? Generally, people are going to have stress about a few things, and that's on the newest associate checklist. Stress is going to be from either they're overworked, they're tired, not enough time with their family, money, right? It tends to be money and time tend to have the stress situation. And those are two things that Isogenics can always, always, always bless somebody with. And so then I have that in my notes with that person, but I really is. And then I ask them, and you go through that new associate interview with them, and you just ask them questions like, what's the amount that it would take to, if they say in 90 days they want to be earning this, well, then this is what that looks like. So it doesn't have to be all over the place, but it's very specific for that individual and what their goals are. But I do, you guys, I just use the tools. I use the links, I use the videos, I use stories after story after story, and I connect people. I'm a really good connector. So when I get on and I know somebody, let's say it's a teacher. Let's say it's a teacher that's really stressed. I'm gonna find a teacher. Now I have teachers in my organization. If I didn't, you guys have the amazing Angela. She would have somebody, I guarantee you, that she knows that has a similar story to whoever that person is. Bam, then they're gonna get connected with that person. Be if it's a phone call, if it's on Facebook, they are now getting connected to that person. And I really do think that is the most powerful thing. If somebody says yes, they want to share, I type their first post for them. I don't ask them to post, give them a guideline to post. I will type their first post. I will give them the picture to post. So then, especially if now I know that they're serious, now they're taking action. I tell them when to post it. Then we drive support to it. When they make the post, we drive support, and I make sure that they know how to do a three-way call. And that's it, so it really is.
This is exactly what we do. It's exactly what we do. We do a day 5 phone call. We include another coach to offer support. similar to your welcome call. On day 8, are you open to posting on Facebook? If yes, we give them the do's and don'ts of Facebook, right? Don't mention Isogenics. Here's a little something, post it up, 9 p.m. tonight. Tag me so I can support you. We all do the same thing. The primary thing is the do. Just do.
It is. It really, the basics, I always say, like, my little nephew, could build this business. It is, talking to people, making friends. I consider myself a professional friend maker. That's what we're doing. We're making friends. And then, we're just inviting people and we're using a tool. Like that's it. We're sending a video. We're adding to a Facebook group. We're, dialing in a 3-way call. We're sending a video. I mean, if you think about the amount of money that you can earn, for really what the do is, it's pretty simple. I mean, it is not rocket science. Just like you said, making more than a cardiovascular surgeon. It is not rocket science, but how many people are you connecting with? How many people are you getting on the phone with? How many people are you showing the compensation plan to? How many people are you understanding what their need for additional money could be? How many people are you doing that with? And that will, that will dictate, where your income is going. And like what you said, Angela, you are 1 to 2 conversations away from changing you and your family's entire destiny. One on your left, one on your right changes everything. Somebody that you can run with, and just every single conversation. And when I stopped making it about me, Angela, or why I wouldn't say something to somebody or why I'm not in action, it's always because it's about me and how I'm going to look or what I'm going to say. Am I going to look silly? It was always that. But if we're really being in the act of service and we're really helping people and we're blessing people, we are never not going to invite somebody to take a look, or we're not going to be afraid of rejection, because we know that we have a gift for somebody. And so, like, when that really set in, everything, changed for me.
I think that rejection really boils down to our own insecurities. Maybe somebody hurt you when you were younger. Maybe you were cheated on. Maybe you had bad relationships growing up. And oftentimes when somebody says no, you take it very personally. And I have to be honest with you. For me to have the success that I've had in the time that I've had, I hit millionaire in 3 years, and it's nothing special. I just, I spoke to 5,000 people, and out of those 5,000, I will tell you honestly, 4,300 of them said no. And I just, when I knew they were giving me the excuses, and I knew, oh, I got to ask my husband, I don't have any money, you know what, it's when I just couldn't wait for them to say no and be quiet so I can move on to the next person who was ready. Because I really firmly believe in my heart that you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, and vice versa. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I need to chew. I want my soda. I'm going to miss my cheese. You know what? You're not ready. Call me when you are. That's it. But I never knew a product ingredients. I never cared to learn the product ingredient. I just saw what it did for me, and I was so excited and so passionate to share it and help other people that I never let those no's discourage me. And I always was familiar with the few objections that people come up with. They're going to say, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I need to do some research. I've got to ask my husband, or, I need to chew my food. It's always the same few objections, but those objections are never the real reason. It's simply because the person just doesn't know, right? When you came out of the gates and you just wanted to tell everyone, you need to detox, you need to do this. You knew, or for the first time in your life, you saw how good your body was designed to feel. So when someone said no, you didn't take it like personally. You just went to the next person because you were so adamant and passionate and caring for helping others feel this way, especially in a world where there's so many sick people. So you know what? I feel so hurt, and I really take it to heart, because somebody will hear a couple no's and then they give up. They say, I'm not good at this. And I'm like, are you shitting me? There's 2 billion people on Facebook. 8 people told you no and you quit? Come on.
And how many people say no and then they come back later anyway, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So tell me, have you ever had to battle your mindset?
Oh,
because right now you're in such a great place. Have you had downfalls? Have you questioned your decision? Has somebody ever hurt you? Have you ever cried over your Isagenix business? I've cried. I have sobbed good tears, and I've sobbed that ugly tears. But no matter what, I never once thought about giving up on my dream.
You know, oh gosh, girl, yes. And I mean, you guys, healthy mind and body, I mean, mindset, that's everything. You know, we've heard about it. I mean, we've heard, you know, your business will grow to only the extent that you grow yourself. I know for me, before I kind of got into mindset and really power belief, I felt like I was building like this all the time. And then when I really started to work on my mindset and my belief that I could do it, that I really had what it took, that I was, you know, going to work on my skill set. So that was getting better. And just my belief, everything lifted for me. And I mean, I just kept, you know, going up after that. So mindset's everything. But yeah, in the beginning, I remember there's this one big time where I had like a friend that was telling me I was selling snake oil, like a really good friend. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I felt so hurt, or I had some returns, you know, and just all these things. I just felt so, and I was working so much and I was just stressed. I was trying to work overtime to connect with people. And, you know, all these things. And I was I felt like I was failing, and I was just crying and crying and crying in the shower one day. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm a nurse. I'm not a network marketer. Like, you know, this is for somebody like a beauty queen like Jennifer. I mean, that's who I was comparing myself to. So like, talk about the comparison monster. Oh my gosh. And yeah, so, you know, there's definitely times that, you know, it hit me hard. And there was a part of me that wanted to, when I had first started, that was probably when I had that, I was probably about 4 or 5 months in from really making the commitment to building. But there was that little bit of doubt, you know, that was still creeping in. And I mean, thank God I reached out to Callie, who handed me the book, The 4-Year Career. And, you know, just because of the returns, or, you know, all these things, or, you know, witness protection program, you talk to people and then somehow like you never hear from them again, or like,
I had a girl who wanted to build last week. Now she's gone.
It's like, what happened? Everybody goes through that. If you're not going through those things, you're probably not in enough action. At some point, you are going to have those moments and go through those things. So embrace them, celebrate them, knock through them, get through them. You know, reach out, have your community of people that, you know, you can just, hey, I'm struggling right now, but I'm going to push through. Like, what do, you know, to pull yourself up? For me, it's always gratitude. It's remembering why I started. I mean, my sister, she's down 105 pounds on Isagenix. My nephew has his mom back. Like remembering those things. Recently, I had injured my back, an accident, and I had injured my back, and you guys, I was bedridden for a while, and this was, thank God I had a residual income. If I was nursing, I would have been on family medical leave, right? Like, not knowing how I was going to pay my bills. And I had residual income, and I wasn't working my business then. And I went through, you know, a depression of feeling guilty and bad, and, you know, some things that I had planned that I had to cancel. I mean, my husband was carrying me up the stairs and putting me on the toilet. Like, it was devastating. But looking back, it was like, oh my gosh, but I had this residual income coming in. And that was a really big realization for me too, that, you know, even though, you know, all that was going on in my life, I still had that. And I had just the community and the team members. And so I just always remember what has, you know, come into my life through Isagenix. And maybe you're somebody who's just getting started, or you've been struggling, you know, just building, starting out. And, you know, just the community though, and the support, that alone is such a gift, you know, in addition to just putting this nutrition in your body. But just know, like, when you make that decision, and I always tell people, you know, like for me, there was no need for plan B, because it distracted from plan A. I heard Will Smith say that. And I'm like, yes, that is it. There was no need for me to think, what if this doesn't work? I hope it works out. I'm going to give it my best shot. You know, it was like, no, like, this is what I'm going to do. And so when you do run into those moments of resistance, or you do feel like, you know, you're failing, or things are not moving forward, or you're stagnant, you know, you pull yourself back up, just like in anything in life. You pull yourself back up. But like, what's the alternative to doing what I was doing for the next 40 years, or to having a job, or punch a clock, or hopefully, you know, have a 401k, you know, living paycheck to paycheck? Like, well, I mean, that was the alternative. Like, you know, Isagenix is not hard. What would have been hard was looking back and looking at the next 20, 40 years of my life, life, going to work like that and just being at the mercy of somebody else instead of taking it into my own hands, and just really being able to say, look, this is where I am going. And so it's plugging in daily, though. I had to immerse myself. It really is like, what books are you listening to? What CDs are you listening to? What podcasts? I mean, there's YouTube, all of it's free, right? All that stuff is free that you can get on and listen to every day. But that's how I pulled myself out. But yes, there's been wall kicking moments. There's been crying moments. In the very beginning, there was doubt. There was wanting to quit, thinking that I couldn't do it. And then there's still wall kicking moments that you'll have throughout your organization as it grows, people, personality, all those things, just as things grow, and you want to be a great leader and you're learning things. So, but you just keep going, just like with anything else that you would do in life. I'm sure it's challenging being a mom, having kids, wanting to throw your hands up. I'm sure there's a lot of tears shed with being a mom, but that doesn't mean that you're going to like give up or quit, or that it's not worth it. Your Isogenics babies and your business is the same.
It is. And you know what? I have to say, I love you for your honesty and your vulnerability, because people look at you and they're like, oh my God, but she's gorgeous. She has a perfect body. Guys, her enrolling sponsor is like a 6-foot-tall bikini model, like on the cover of magazines. Everyone can compare themselves to everyone else, and I think as women, we have to stop that. There's always going to be somebody with better abs than you. There's always going to be somebody with thicker, fuller hair than you. But you've got to wake up and you've got to say, you know what? I own it. I deserve it. I'm good enough, and I'm going to go after it. And I think that that's a huge thing, that mindset thing, because to be honest, when you grow up as a $60,000 a year girl, you never picture yourself to be making that kind of money. And you know what? Like I learned from Tony Robbins, you've got to work on yourself to change that money blueprint. Otherwise, you're going to do everything you can to sabotage yourself. If you're someone that's comfortable at $1,000, $2,000 a week, and you've never saw yourself reaching for more, and you're not pushing yourself to reach for more, you know what happens? You're going to sabotage yourself. You're going to do everything you can to blow it, just to stay stuck where you are. And so I love that you had a time where you were comparing. You had a time that you've gone through it, but you also made it your business to work through it, to grow past it, and to continue to build your business. I hear and see so many people, oh my God, I'm going to go for it when I get on my teaching sabbatical. When I have a year off, that's when I'm going to do it. Or my hours changed at work. I'm working from 4 to 12 and I can't do it right now. As soon as my hours go back, you've got every reason not to do this, but you've got every reason in the world to do this. And I've built between my kids and my husband and 2 dogs and life and chaos and just life, 15 minutes of time, 3 conversations a day. That's it. That's all it really took to build my business. It wasn't the massive amount of hours. It was the consistent amount of action. It was the passion in my heart that I was never going to give up. Come hell or high water. You know what? Getting to an event, if I told you that I didn't find it difficult to leave my children every single time I went to an event, I would be full of baloney. Every time I leave them, my heart hurts. But I say to myself, Casey, I'm doing it for my babies. I'm doing it for them to give them a better life. And you're going to have to make compromises, and you're going to have to make sacrifices, and you're going to have to enlist your husband to support you like she did. But if you want it bad enough, people will sense it. People will feel it. When I told my husband, give me a year because I'm going to change my family's life, he told me he felt the earth shake with the power that how I said it, with the conviction. How are you coming across to people? Are you kind of sort of dabbling? Are you 100% committed and convicted to make this happen? It's very easy. You show people a movie. You get them on a 3-way phone call. You're not doing chemistry. You're not carrying lumber. This is the easiest gig in the world. Why do people go to work to overcomplicate it? So you're basically just showing them a tool, showing them a movie, getting them on a 3-way phone call, educating them. Whether they want to do it or not, It's up to them. It's their decision. But I think with how you come across makes a big impact. And if you guys, if you come on that phone call and you talk with the passion and the sincerity and the heart that Casey comes across, people are going to join you. Maybe not now when you want them, but when they're ready, they will absolutely join you. So what was the best piece of business advice that you have ever gotten?
Don't quit.
Don't
Don't
quit.
quit. That's what Jennifer Trinkner always says. I really do it. I mean, it was Dave MacArthur is somebody that came into my life, and Lenny Evans and Dave MacArthur. And they really did show me, though, that my business was only going to grow to the extent that I grew myself and my belief. And so I really did, in Isogenics, we often rate our beliefs in certain areas. And, we rate our beliefs in the products, we rate our belief in the company, and the industry, and the compensation plan, and then ourselves. And I think for most of us, at least that I have seen throughout my organization, it's always ourselves that is the lowest. And so, believing in yourself, I mean, really, you, before anybody else can believe that it can be done, you have to believe it. And so whatever you have to do to get to work on those beliefs, whatever book, whatever thing, an event will do it. And I mean, getting to events was probably, the number one best piece. Jennifer Trinkner telling me that it was not optional. If I said that I wanted to build this, that I had to be at that event, I was like, I don't have the time or the money. She's like, find a way. If you want it, you'll find a way. And that was it, you guys, because I got to work on all of those beliefs, and I saw ordinary people living extraordinary lives. And if they could do it, why couldn't I? Right. And I always say, if you can be a mom, you can build this business, right? If you can have a job of some sort, you can build this business. Because it is just those simple things, but, and it is, and keeping it simple. That was also another piece of advice. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. And again, and then that will increase your belief, right? But belief is really just the best piece of advice that I ever got, and just going to work on my mindset and belief in myself. Because like you said, when I talk to somebody, I could be talking about, I'm so enthusiastic, you guys, when we have enthusiasm in Theos, filled with God, you're inspired in spirit, right? When you're breathing in, you're putting that out. People feel that, and they want to be a part of it just because they want something. They want that glimpse of hope. They want what you have, right? They want that. And no matter what it is, the ingredients, none of that stuff matters. It's how you come across and your belief that people are buying. And so if your belief is, a 4 on a level of 10, like, you got to up that. You want somebody to follow you when you don't believe. So you have to believe. You have to believe. And if you don't believe yet in yourself, borrow Angela's belief, borrow my belief. I promise you, she believes, right? She knows, she believes in you. So borrow that belief until you can get it for yourself. But if it's possible for her, it's possible for you. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. So just rock that belief, you guys.
Yeah. And I'm hearing now that there's less than 70 tickets left for NYKO, January 11th to the 13th. Please make it your business to be at this event. You don't want to wait until August. You don't want to wait 8 months to grow yourself and your business. Can you tell them why it's so important to really be there?
I've personally never seen in the 5 years that I've done this business, I've never seen someone have success that's not at the businesses or not the events ever. I've not seen their business take off. And, and then I've seen people that have been struggling for, a year, 2 years, they go to an event. And it's like, it is, you guys, it's the highest paid skill set in network marketing. I mean, this is a this is a $1 billion industry, $100+ billion yearly industry is network marketing, right? If it is the highest paid skill set in the industry as a whole, what would I be thinking not to be there if it's the highest paid skill set? And when you go, then you can bring people. We cannot ask of others what we ourselves are not willing to do. And your organization is not going to grow if you do not have people at events, right? Like, that's just, you have to have, over time, if you want to have a flourishing organization, you have to have team members at events. They're not going to be at events if we're not at events. And there are 2 main events every year. My calendar is already filled out with my corporate events, my 4 core events for next year. And it was like that before I was earning money, right? Before I was an Millionaire. It was like that. I would drive 12 hours, 14 hours to go to events. because somebody told me it was the highest paid skill set and I was committed, right? I was serious. So yeah, I mean, it's the highest paid skill set. You guys are going to learn the tips, you're going to learn the trade, but most importantly, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the culture and you're going to feel the belief. And I know for me, even though I've been to, NYKOs, multiple ones of them, celebrations, I have to go recharge my battery. I have to go get recharged because life happens in every day and things, and that's never going to stop. And so when you re-immerse yourself in the culture of Isagenix, it almost like it reminds me again, what do every day, what it is that we do, or maybe just make that one extra phone call or that one extra connection for some reason. It reignites my passion and my fire. I just got done doing an event, a top 50 event with Rod Harrison, the creator of Healthy Mind and Body. I mean, that reignited me. You have to charge your cell phone and you have to charge your computer or it dies, right? We have to recharge ourselves, and the events will do that. And so, yeah, but it's the highest paid skill set, you guys.
It's like plunge juice for the soul. We call it plunge juice for the soul. When did you start your business? Do you remember the date?
I started in August of 2012 is when I got my brown box, August 21st. And then I read the book, The 4-Year Career, in December of 2012. And then I went to my first event in January of 2013. It was in Arizona and it was NYKO.
Yeah. So I started my business January 17th, 2013. So you and I are maybe 6 months behind, maybe a month apart from when we started doing the business. So I would like to put out a little challenge for me and you, Jennifer. Why do I keep calling Casey?
Hey, if you think I look like Jennifer, I'm all about it. You all day long.
I have Jen on the brain. So we have to set some goals, right? Because as leaders, we also have to push each other. So let's do a little challenge. Let's run to 9-star together.
Let's do it.
Do you set like weekly goals, monthly goals? Do you set targets for yourself each week?
Absolutely. Each week, I'm more so kind of in a 90-day or a couple a year that I do is how I run. So not necessarily weekly goals that I do for myself. I'm in the process of becoming more, you guys can be a hot mess and build this business and not be the best at organization. Let me just tell you. That's why
here's my follow-up box.
Doesn't have to look pretty, you guys. You just have to do the do. And sometimes the do is really messy, right? Sometimes it's really messy. But yeah, I have a goal to for next year to double my entire business. So I'm planning on doubling it and earning 7 figures. I want to be earning 7 figures fully in the residual income. So that's the goal right now. So for sure 9-star without a shadow of a doubt. So yes, I will make that commitment on this team call. Definitely hitting 9-star.
Yes, I love it. So we are going to chat privately offline. I want to thank you so much. I hope the team found value in this. The recording kind of shut down because of my Facebook limitations, but we have the recording and we're going to post it for everyone. If you guys are watching live, recorded, whatever, please share this with your team. This is so valuable. This is so critical. Casey, you were absolutely... Everyone's saying best call ever. I have to tell you honestly, and I'll edit the recording so nobody else hears me say this, but we have had some of the top income earners on the call, and this is by far my favorite call ever. You are just on fire. You are motivating. You are inspiring. You are just a normal person who really made the decision. And that lights such a fire in my heart, because when I see people like you, it makes me think, why can't I? Why can't she? Why can't they? And the fact that you graciously, no financial connection, came on, asked for nothing in return, spent an hour of your evening, dinner time for you, I think, at this time, to educate our team is just priceless. And I received so much value tonight, and I want to thank you so much for everything, Casey. I love you.
Love you and thank you. And I've been following you, and I remember seeing you stand up and being recognized at a nice Genix event. And I was like, that girl is killing it. Who is that? I've got to follow her. So you guys are so blessed, as you guys know, just to have you and your leadership and all your inspiration. So everybody, like how you started the Zoom, that how you finish December and how you run in December is how it predicts your January, which predicts your year. So let's finish strong.
Woo!
All
Thank
right.
you
Thanks,
so
guys, so much.
much. Love you, sweetheart. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye. See you in NYKO.
That's
Y'all
right.
be there.